Hello, everyone. Welcome to Wise Tips. Thank you so much for joining us. Eduardo, how are you doing today?
Excited. Long time we don't do one of this. I was missing.
I know. Did you notice I said it right this time? I didn't actually say Wisecast. I said Wisecast. I'm pretty proud of myself. Proud of myself.
To those of you out there, if you're a Wise Option user, we're going to give, again, pretty good hints and tips about short things and just remind you about good stuff. And if you're not a user yet, maybe a taste for you to join us.
Definitely. Well, I'm going to go ahead, and I know you're ready to share your screen, so I'm going to go ahead and add that as on so everyone can see that. We're going to dive right into our first one. So the first one I have has to do with, I figured since it is billing week, figured we'd kind of stick around in the customer file for a little bit. So if we'd go ahead and open up a customer file, the first one I have is default credit and charge buttons. So if you go to any one of your customer files, you can actually, if anyone knows, down there at the bottom left-hand corner of the screen, once you get into the account, there is two buttons that says charge and credit. You can actually customize those buttons, and you can create other customized charge and credit buttons. You can see I've actually done that already for two down there, but the way to do that is actually at the top right-hand corner, there's a button that says settings. You're gonna go ahead and click that. And there you can go ahead and you can see here I've got several options. So what I can do is I can actually name a different button. So you can see I've got two credits I've named. One is check, one is reset donation. And I can customize which category it automatically pops up with. So what that's going to do is it's going to allow you to go ahead and you can actually go in. Once you click on that, for instance, that first one, check, it's going to open up that credit entry and actually have default already the category as check. So you can just go ahead and enter in your price or the amount the check was for and hit enter. Like I said, you can enter a number of these credits and charges as well. The second option that I have is actually, if we go back to the customer file, is setting the default addresses and email addresses. So from anyone who's entered in email addresses or physical addresses in Wise Option, you'll know that you'll click that green plus down there at the bottom. And whenever you go ahead and you add it, you'll see the number of checkboxes at the top. And those checkboxes will say stuff like billing, mailing, etc. And so once you can see on this one, it's actually below. So you have different options there you can individually check. Now to go into each one and edit and change one to be billing, one to not, and you'd have to go in there and edit each one. That's kind of cumbersome. So what we actually allowed you to do is once you've gone ahead and you've entered those email addresses, an easier way to set which one goes to which instead of having to go in individually and check boxes, uncheck others, remember which ones you've checked, is actually you go ahead and save that. And at the bottom of those entries down there, you'll see a blue hyperlink that says set up default email addresses. There's also one for the physical addresses as well. And you can see here, we've actually given you drop-down menus, and it has all of the options there for all of the, in this case, email addresses that you've entered. And so obviously, of course, it does respect both the checkboxes and these selections, but this is a much easier way to go in and denote which one goes where than going into each one individually and checking boxes and unchecking stuff. So much simpler and more straightforward way to do it through the blue hyperlink at the bottom. The last one that I have that has to do kind of here on the customer file is actually has to do with the invoices. We're going to go ahead and open up a pending invoice. On this one, I think we're going to open up Lisa and go into her invoices. And there is a pending dispensed invoice I've made. So we all know that customers kind of get used to a certain way of seeing invoices, certain way of seeing procedures on invoices. Most of the time, I know most people are pretty good about they enter the procedures in the order that they would like the customer to view it. I know sometimes you entered them a different way, or you entered in one way and you'd like to lay out the invoice a little differently. So we actually give you the option at the bottom there. There are radio buttons that offer which ways we're going to present these items on the printed or sent out invoice, either alphabetically, sort as entered, or even things like custom sort. So you can see I have custom sort selected. And if Eduardo clicks that button that says custom sort, it's going to pop up with a list of all the items on the invoices. And so from here, I can actually click and drag and drop items and rearrange them in the order that I want them to be ordered in. So this goes kind of nicely if you're trying to get as many entered in as you can, don't really want to think about which ones you have to enter in first or next or whatever, and you can just go ahead then at the end and just drag them in the order that you'd like them to be presented on the invoice for the customer.
Pretty good ones.
So my next one, now we're going to leave the customer file, and this one's going to go to, this one is actually one of Eduardo's that he gave me. So thank you, Eduardo. This one actually is going to be in the reports. So in the reports, sometimes we want to know, how much customers spent in a year or in a certain time period total. And the way you're actually going to find that is from it's going to be the reports for the end of the period. And when you go there, we're going to unselect all the options. And we are only going to select the customer balances, which I think is towards the bottom.
You should say that about the year up to date.
Yes. And you want to do probably the year up to date. That's what most people would like to see this for. Most people know what they spend in a month, but they'd like to know something about the whole year. So we're going to just select customer balances, and then we're going to select credits and charges only. And we're going to go ahead and say all active and inactive customers. And for this one, I'm just going to hit grid view because I personally like the way it looks, but you can print and preview this report if you like that one as well. It gives you the same information, just displayed a little bit differently. So here in this grid view, you can see it gives me, obviously, of course, my demo database, not very many customers. You might have a lot more than I do. But here I can see the total amounts of charges for those customers, for the credits, both the beginning and end balances and the difference. And of course, then obviously the number of invoices in that time period for that customer as well. So it's a really great overview for your customer as we're ending towards the end of the year, to know how much your customers are spending, how much they're actually paying for, and the total number of invoices, of course, for each of those customers as well. So as we're kind of ending the near of the year and getting closer towards breeding season, Eduardo's next two have to do with, of course, breeding season and getting ready for breeding season and making sure we're kind of looking in that direction. I know some of you guys are looking at your mares out in pasture and they're getting larger and larger. So one thing we really want to point you guys to is the udder check log. So in Wise Option, what that actually does is it pulls any mare that is bred in Wise Option, or pregnant, I should say, in Wise Option, that is over 280 days of gestation. She is going to show up on this list. And so what that's going to allow you to do is it also goes hand in hand with our mobile application, which if you haven't downloaded yet, please do, or contact us and let us know you need help and we can do that for you. But you're going to go ahead and actually that's going to really help your night watch people, your interns, or just your employees that are going around checking mares, making those notes about their udders and their development and any behavioral changes in them. And it all gets logged here as a history and it's viewable on the mobile app. So everyone's on board, so you have somebody who comes in one day and then is gone the next, and you have a new person, they can see what the last person said about those mares they've been checking on. So again, really great module to just full integration and to be able to keep everybody on the same page. Last one, promise, that Eduardo also reminded us about was as we get closer to breeding season, we want to make sure that, everyone's on the same page and practicing that good communication. So one of the new features we've created, of course, for the last couple months now is the Wise Option Messenger. So here, unfortunately, I realized that on this one, it's actually a good thing. So this one's grayed out. So what that means is it doesn't have access to it yet. So what we want to do is make sure that in the Wise Option Messenger, your employees, at least the ones you want, have the ability to go ahead and to use the messenger. So there's two types of messenger. There's the messenger that's internal, employees, users amongst each other in the same facility. And then we have the network messenger. That allows you to message other facilities using Wise Option. Now, there is a caveat to this, of course, both with the internal and external network. You have to have permission. So when you come into your professionals, you need to make sure that the professional has permission to use the internal messenger and the network messenger if you so do choose. Same thing works with the email as well. Now there is also, so once you've turned on the allowance of it, you have to make sure and you go into the branch settings if you would like to go ahead and take advantage of the network messenger. So that's again, network is actually the ability to chat with other facilities using Wise Option. So it is defaulted when you update and get this version, it is defaulted to not be selected. So you won't be able to see other facilities and they won't be able to see you. Now, if you, again, would like to participate in that, you can go to Tools and Options and go ahead and it's right on that first tab towards the bottom. There's a checkbox that says Wise Option Network Messenger and Wise Option Network Email. I apologize, it's not in branch properties. It is actually just in the first tab of Tools and Options. And there's the last two checkboxes. on that page is Wise Option Network email and Wise Option Network Messenger. So again, if you would like to participate in the network, which is chatting with other facilities using Wise Option, make sure those are checked. If you don't, they're already default unchecked and they won't be available. So just something to consider as we head into breeding season. Again, thinking about best ways to keep in touch and communicated both with, of course, users and employees and with your own system, and of course, with other facilities as well. So just a couple tips we had for today. We hope you really enjoyed them. And of course, if you have any questions, please don't hesitate to contact us. And yeah, we're excited for breeding season and finishing up a lot of the big projects that you guys asked for. So we're super excited to get those out to you as well. And you guys will hear from us real soon. Eduardo, do you have anything to add?
Well, good options, click killing mode, integration with, creating the network, easy way to find the customers, all great ideas coming from our users. So keep sending your suggestions, your ideas we're going to implement. I like the format today because you speak way faster than me and we can cover more content, and I like driving what you're saying. I think
but I still
we should use.
I didn't make it under 8 minutes. I didn't even make it under 10. I mean, under 11.
Well, it's hard. It's hard. But and the last thing I would say is tomorrow we're going to do some announcements to invite you guys to stay tuned and check out because we're going to have important things to say tomorrow again. But it's about what to expect in this turning year and big features that are coming with new versions and how things are going to work out.
Definitely. Well, we'll have to see you all then. Again, I hope everyone had a safe and wonderful holiday, and we look forward to seeing you soon.
Bye.
Bye.